Hey, 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 happy Monday. It's Dr. Joe from Atlanta. Welcome to Your Wellness for Life, where we discuss all nine aspects of wellness, and health is one of them. Wellness is a state of being, and health is a state of body. Anyway, happy Monday. Happy first Monday of the new year, 2021. And how are those New Year's resolutions coming along? I was thumbing through a list of about 50 of them the other night and ran across one that really kind of stuck out. And it was how to be more punctual. Normally New Year's resolutions are about losing weight, exercising more, and getting out of debt and saving more money, spending less money, financial kind of things or health and wellness kind of things. So this one, is a little bit different. And I think it will resonate with several of you, and it certainly resonated with me. And it brings back a few chuckles thinking back to when I was a kid and my family was trying to get to church, and it seemed to be a weekly Sunday ritual that we would just be late to church. And I have three sisters, and one of them in particular always kept us waiting. So my dad, we were all in the car ready to go. We're waiting for her to come out, and sometimes she would finally make it, and sometimes my dad would just get frustrated and we would just take off. And we had about a 45-minute drive to church. So, you know, you just can't hang around and you factor in that trip. So we were always kind of late, and that was kind of embarrassing. So anyway, being punctual is a good habit, and I actually have 10 tips to make you more punctual for the new year. So let's kind of run through these. This will be kind of fun. And I think a lot of the references are going to be to driving and getting from point A to point B. So tip number one, don't check your email or your voicemail right before you leave to go somewhere. That's just a bad idea. And I do this all the time. Not my email, but someone calls me or leaves me a message, and sometimes they're worried about it being something clinical, but many times it's not. So if you're really trying to get somewhere, don't get distracted by doing this last minute email, voicemail, texting check, or maybe even running through your social media. You're going to get distracted. So stay focused on where you're going to go. Number two, plan for trouble. Build in a little buffer. And if you think about a trip to work, my car trip is about 15 minutes into work. And so, I leave 8:45 thinking I'm going to be in my office at 9. Well, it takes 5 minutes to collect your stuff and warm up the car. Then it takes at least 5 minutes to walk in to get to your office. So that's 10 minutes there already. You need to buffer in the trip to the car and getting organized, and the trip into the building. So too many times we think of just the minutes it takes to drive and then factor that into how long it takes to get there. And no, you need a little bit of extra time. You need a buffer. You need to plan for trouble. And what if you run into an accident or traffic? Might be a good idea to have a little extra buffer, especially if you get into a very important meeting. Number three, set up the night before. This is a very good one, especially for me. I'll have my computer out, I have my laptop out, I've got a bunch of papers out, and I like to bring in some food for the next day, like a vegetable soup that I heat up. And if I don't get it organized the night before, the next morning it's just a rush, rush, rush. And especially if I get called into the office in the middle of the night, many times I have to leave that sitting there. So then I don't get it. So make sure that you plan the next day, the night before, and set up your stuff, lay out your clothes, and you'll be much better for it. Number four, you could always set your clocks a little ahead. Now, you can't do it with your iPhone because that's hooked up to some, central time place. But the clock on your in your car and the clock on your microwave, the clock on your oven, you certainly can set that ahead. Number 5, you need to learn to estimate how much time it takes or how much time it takes to do something. And you got to be more realistic. So build in a little buffer. It's kind of like the buffer with the trip in to work. Whatever the activity is, make sure that you always build in a little extra buffer. Number 6, schedule events 10 minutes early. So if you've got a very important 9 o'clock meeting, you may want to pretend that that meeting starts at 8:50. Just again, build a little buffer and in your mind or on your calendar, actually schedule it 10 minutes early. Number 7, set reminders. There's a service called Sandy. I haven't used it, but it basically will send you a text reminder um, for your different appointments. So that's kind of nifty. You can take advantage of this high-tech stuff, but you could actually do it, more simply. And you can actually on your phone, you've got a reminder. You can kind of set that up. Number 8, schedule events for off-peak time. So that has to do with like rush hour traffic. Many of these have to do with getting from point A to point B. So you know your local area, and you know the rush hour, what the times are, and what routes are going to be more congested. You need to factor all that in, and especially if you're going to have a meeting, let's say you're going from work to home, and there's something very important right at 6 o'clock, and you're getting off work at 5:30. You need to make sure that you're going to make it by 6. Otherwise, someone's going to be mad at you, and you may want to make that meeting just a little bit later. Again, to build yourself a buffer so that you can get home. And the same thing works the other way around. When you're driving into work, getting to an important meeting, make sure that you start early enough. Number 9, this is a good one. Fill up your gas tank whenever it gets down to about a quarter tank, because how many times have you tried to get somewhere and you've got maybe an hour trip or 45-minute trip, and time is tight, and now your gas is on low, and you know that you're going to need to gas up. That's gonna chew up another 10-15 minutes probably to gas up your car. So be in the habit of keeping your car gassed up, so that is not one of those things that's going to derail you and delay you to wherever you need to go. And then number 10 is to use a countdown timer. You can get a cheap digital timer, and you could use it to create a sense of urgency and to help you keep on track at each step you need to complete to make it wherever you're supposed to be on time. So those are the 10 ways, the 10 tips to make yourself more punctual. Let me run through them real quick. Don't check your email or voicemail right before you leave. Plan for trouble. Build in a little buffer. Set up the night before. That's a very important one. Set your clocks ahead a few minutes. Learn to better estimate how much time things take. Schedule events 10 minutes early. Set some reminders. Schedule events for off-peak times. Fill your gas tank when it reaches a quarter tank, and use a countdown timer. So if you're interested in the 10 tips to make yourself more punctual, send me a message, send me a comment. And I also have the 9 habits of very punctual people. They overlap a little bit with the 10 tips, but they're actually 9 slightly different habits of punctual people. So on that note, I wish you a wonderful Monday. Get some rest. Tomorrow is Tuesday, the first, Tuesday of the year. So we'll catch y'all tomorrow. Have a good night. Dr. Joe from Atlanta. Welcome to Your Wellness for Life. Hey, hey, hey. See you tomorrow.